There are certain stretches of days that feel different from the ones surrounding them, not because anything dramatic has happened, but because something interior seems to have shifted its weight. The way furniture in a familiar room sometimes feels slightly rearranged without anyone having touched it. The 3 days between March 11th and March 13th carry this quality in a way that Solis, a spiritual guide and energy researcher who has tracked these windows for over 2 decades, describes as unusually concentrated. There is also a particular reason why sensitive people tend to feel this window arriving before it officially begins, and why others feel its effects only after it has already passed. If thoughtful, unhurried evenings are what draw you here, you've found the right company tonight. What moves through these 3 days is quieter than most people expect, and more personally specific than a general energy forecast can prepare you for. Why March 11 begins a 3-day threshold. Not all periods of energetic significance arrive as single days. Some move as windows, building across several days the way a weather system builds. First in atmospheric pressure, then in visible cloud, then in the rain itself. March 11th through 13th functions as precisely this kind of window. The energy doesn't peak on a single day and dissipate. It accumulates across all 3, each day carrying a slightly different quality of the same essential invitation. Solis describes this particular window as one that arrives with its own internal momentum, each day deepening what the previous one began, until by March 13th, something that was only beginning to be felt on the 11th has had enough time to fully arrive. The reason this specific 3-day span holds energetic significance is connected to a convergence of celestial positions that in human experiential terms creates conditions unusually hospitable to interior processing. Without loading the explanation with technical language, what this means practically is that the usual external pull of life, the appetite for news, for productivity, for social engagement, temporarily softens, not disappears, but softens. And in that softening, the interior world becomes proportionally louder. Things that were present but quiet become audible. Feelings that were acknowledged but not fully felt find a little more room to be felt completely. The behavior shift people most commonly report as March 11th begins is a subtle but noticeable change in their relationship with distraction. Ordinary entertainment becomes less satisfying. The pull towards social media and noise reduces without the person consciously deciding to reduce it. People describe reaching for a book, or sitting outside without a phone, or finding themselves in an unexpectedly meaningful conversation, not because they planned these things, but because the usual appetite for less substantial engagement has temporarily quieted. The threshold has opened. And whatever a person genuinely needs to encounter in the interior begins on March 11th to move toward them. The quiet shift most people feel before noticing. There is a particular quality of change that arrives without announcement, a shift so gradual and interior that most people recognize it only in retrospect, when they realize that something about how they are moving through their day has altered without any specific cause they can point to. In the days leading into this March window, this quality of unannounced change tends to appear in the mornings, a slightly different quality to waking, a brief moment between sleep and full consciousness in which something feels new without being identifiable. This is not confusion. It is the first register of an energy shift that the body notices before the thinking mind has caught up. The mechanism behind this pre-conscious recognition is worth understanding. The human nervous system is exquisitely sensitive to environmental changes, both physical and energetic, and processes a great deal of incoming information below the threshold of conscious awareness. Before a person can articulate that something feels different, their nervous system has already registered the change and begun adjusting. This is the same faculty that makes people glance at a door a moment before someone enters, or sense the mood of a room before anyone has spoken. During an energy window like this one, that faculty receives a more significant signal than usual, and the quiet shift it produces in the body arrives before any conscious recognition can form. What makes this pre-conscious shift interesting is what it tends to produce in behavior before the person understands what is happening. People become unexpectedly gentle with themselves and with others. Small irritations that would normally register as genuine frustrations pass without catching. A quality of patience arrives that wasn't deliberately chosen. People describe being kinder in traffic, more tolerant of minor inconveniences, more willing to let things go without the usual internal commentary. This behavioral softening, arriving before any conscious spiritual intention, is one of the quietest and most consistent signatures that an energy window of genuine significance has begun. Take one easy breath right now and notice the quality of where you are sitting, the temperature of the air, the sounds present at the edge of your awareness. You don't need to change anything about this moment. The energy window of March 11th through 13th doesn't require preparation or positioning. It simply asks for a little more presence than usual, and you are already providing it, just by being here and listening. What this energy window opens that others don't. Each significant energy window has its own particular specialty, the specific quality of interior work it is most suited to facilitate. Some windows are associated with release, the dropping of what has been held too long. Others are associated with clarity, the sudden seeing of what had been obscured. A March 11th through 13th window is associated with something different from both of these and something rarer: access. Access to parts of a person's interior life that are ordinarily behind a kind of functional barrier, not locked away, not repressed, but simply not easily reachable in the speed and noise of ordinary daily living. Maya Solis has described this window as being uniquely suited to what she calls the conversations a person needs to have with themselves, the internal dialogues that require more quietness and more honesty than ordinary life typically provides space for. The questions that live just below the productive surface of a busy life. Am I genuinely satisfied with the direction my days are moving in? Is there something I have been meaning to address in a relationship that keeps being postponed? Is the life I am currently living an honest reflection of what I actually value? These questions are not painful, they are clarifying, and this window provides the energetic conditions in which they can be approached without the usual defensiveness. The quality of access this window opens is notably different from what people experience during, for example, a significant full moon. Full moon energy tends to be emotionally amplifying. It turns up the volume on what is already present. This window does something more like adjusting the lighting. It doesn't intensify what is there. It illuminates it more accurately, the way a particular quality of afternoon light can make you see the color of something you've looked at 100 times, as though for the first time. What was always there becomes newly visible, and what was newly visible tends to be exactly what was most ready to be seen. As we go deeper into this video, there is a specific quality at the middle day of this window, March 12th, carries that is distinct from the opening and closing days, and it tends to be where the most significant interior shifts of the entire 3-day period actually occur. The physical sensation tied to this specific period. Energy shifts of genuine significance tend to be felt in the body before they are understood by the mind, and the March 11th through 13th window is no exception. The physical sensations most commonly reported during this period have a distinctive quality that separates them from ordinary stress or fatigue. People describe a particular sensation in the center of the chest, not discomfort, but a kind of fullness, as though something that has been compressed is gently expanding. Others notice an unusual warmth in the hands, or a lightness in the shoulders that arrives without the physical cause of having removed any weight. These sensations are not imagined. They are the body's way of registering that something is moving through it. The chest sensation deserves particular attention because of what it corresponds to in the body's energetic anatomy. Across many traditional healing systems, from Chinese medicine to the Ayurvedic tradition of India, the center of the chest is understood as the seat of the heart's emotional intelligence, the place where grief and love and genuine compassion are processed and stored. When this area experiences the fullness and gentle expansion that people report during this window, it tends to indicate that the heart's capacity for feeling is being given more room than usual, not opened forcibly, but gently invited to expand into available space. The behavior shift that accompanies these physical sensations is one that people find both surprising and, upon reflection, welcome. They become more easily moved by ordinary things that wouldn't ordinarily produce strong feeling. A piece of music lands differently. A conversation with an old friend carries unexpected weight. A sunset, or a child's laugh, or a simple act of kindness observed between strangers produces a quality of feeling that is disproportionate to the event itself. This heightened sensitivity is not fragility. It is the chest's fullness finding specific objects to land on. The expanded capacity for feeling encountering the ordinary world with more of itself available than usual. Why some people suddenly need more stillness now. There is a population of people for whom this energy window produces an almost involuntary withdrawal from their usual level of activity. Not from low mood or physical illness, but from a genuine interior signal that more than the usual amount of stillness is required right now. These people find themselves declining invitations they would ordinarily have accepted, choosing an evening at home over engagement, shortening their to-do lists without guilt, as though something inside has assessed the energetic budget for this period and quietly redirected it from external expenditure toward internal work. This is not avoidance. It is, in the body's own language, a request for resources. The people most likely to experience this pull towards stillness are those whom Solis describes as energetically permeable. People whose nervous systems are naturally more open to subtle environmental signals than the general population. This includes people who have always been described as sensitive or intuitive, people who work in caregiving or emotionally demanding professions, and people who are in any kind of active personal transition. For all of these groups, an energy window that increases the volume of the interior signal requires proportionally more stillness to process. The way a complex musical composition requires a quieter room than background noise. What happens inside the stillness that this window requests is not nothing. It is active, even when it appears passive from the outside. The person sitting quietly in their favorite chair during these 3 days is not wasting time or retreating from life. They are participating in a processing that the interior requires this kind of space to complete. Insights arrive during this stillness that would not have found their way through in motion. Emotions complete cycles they had been unable to finish in the noise. Decisions clarify. Priorities reorder themselves without being forced. The stillness is the work, and the people who honor the request for it tend to emerge from these 3 days with a quality of interior clarity that active engagement during the same period would not have produced. The unexpected clarity that arrives on March 12. If March 11th is the opening of the window and March 13th is its closing, then March 12th is its heart. The middle day of this 3-day threshold carries the densest concentration of the window's particular energy, and the quality most associated with it is something that arrives unexpectedly for many people: clarity about a question they had not consciously been asking. Not clarity about the future. This window does not produce predictions or certainties about external outcomes. The clarity it delivers is interior, about what a person genuinely feels about something, about what they actually want, as distinct from what they have been telling themselves they want, about where their energy is most authentically directed. Maya's Solis has written about March 12th within this window as a day that functions like the still point at the center of a turning motion, the moment of maximum quiet within a period of significant energetic movement. People who are paying attention often describe this day as carrying a quality of unusual self-transparency. The internal noise that ordinarily fills the space between a question and its honest answer is briefly reduced. What remains is something more direct, more immediate, and more trustworthy than the deliberations that characterize decision-making in ordinary time. The clarity arrives not from thinking harder, but from the noise becoming quieter than usual. The behavior shift most closely associated with March 12th clarity is one that people sometimes find disorienting in a useful way. They realize, with unusual directness, that they know something they had been pretending not to know, a direction they had been avoiding acknowledging, a relationship dynamic they had been softening in their own telling of it, a need they had been dismissing as unreasonable. This realization doesn't demand immediate action. It simply makes the previous state of not knowing no longer quite available. Once the interior has been honest with itself on March 12th, a certain quality of productive confusion is simply no longer on offer, and most people, upon reflection, find that a relief. A woman named Ruth, who had been circling a particular decision about her living situation for merely a year, sat down with her tea on a quiet Tuesday in mid-March and found that the answer she had been looking for was simply there. Not arrived dramatically, not produced by new information, just present, with a quality of obviousness that made her laugh quietly at how long she had been looking elsewhere. She made her decision that afternoon. She never quite understood why that particular Tuesday, only that it felt exactly right. What old feelings surface during this 3-day span? There is a category of feeling that most people carry without actively registering. Emotional material that has been processed enough to stop being acutely painful, but not enough to have fully resolved and released. These feelings occupy a kind of middle territory in the interior, no longer sharp, but not entirely gone. They surface during energy windows like this one, not because the window is dredging them up for the purpose of causing difficulty, but because the conditions it creates, the increased interior accessibility, the reduced external noise, make the middle territory temporarily more reachable. What was floating just below the surface of awareness finds, during these 3 days, a little more room to rise. What typically surfaces is not the most dramatic or difficult emotional material. That tends to require more specific conditions than a general energy window provides. What surfaces during March 11th through 13th tends to be the quieter residue, a mild grief about a relationship that changed, a low-level regret about a road not taken, a tender awareness of something precious that passed without being fully savored at the time. These are not painful surfacings so much as bittersweet ones, the emotional equivalent of finding an old photograph that prompts more warmth than sadness, more gratitude than loss. The value of allowing these quieter feelings to surface, rather than redirecting attention away from them, is cumulative. Each time a piece of incompletely processed emotional material is met with genuine, unhurried attention, allowed to be fully felt without being immediately analyzed or resolved, it releases a small amount of the interior space it was occupying. Over time, and across multiple windows like this one, this process gradually reduces what might be called the background emotional load, the ambient weight of accumulated unfinished feeling that many people mistake for their permanent baseline. These 3 days offer a gentle, low-stakes opportunity to lighten that load by a few degrees. The relationship signal worth paying attention to now. Energy windows that increase interior accessibility tend to have a secondary effect on relationships, making them temporarily more honest in ways that can feel either clarifying or uncomfortable, depending on the relationship's current state. During March 11th through 13th, people often find that their felt sense of their most important relationships sharpens noticeably. The quality of connection they have with specific people becomes more accurately visible, not distorted by mood or projection, but seen with the particular clarity that this window provides. What is genuinely nourishing becomes more clearly nourishing. What has been draining reveals its draining quality with more specificity than usual. The relationship signal most worth attending to during this window is not the dramatic one, not the sudden revelation that something is fundamentally wrong, but the subtle one, the quiet noticing of where genuine warmth exists and where it has been substituted by habit. The felt difference between a relationship that energizes and one that depletes. The interior register of which people in a person's life they feel most authentically themselves around, and which relationships require a quality of performance that leaves them more tired than connected. This information is present in ordinary time as well, but during this window, it becomes unusually legible, available to be read by anyone willing to sit quietly with it for a few honest minutes. What people tend to do with this relational clarity varies widely. Some act on it immediately, reaching out to a person they have been meaning to reconnect with, or initiating a conversation that has been postponed. Others simply receive the information without acting, allowing the clarity to settle before deciding what, if anything, to do with it. Both responses are valid. The energy window does not demand action. It provides information. What a person chooses to do with that information is entirely their own, made from the quality of self-knowledge that 3 days of unusual interior access has provided. Why March 13th carries a different weight than 11. The closing day of a significant energy window carries a quality that is distinct from its opening, not better or worse, but differently weighted. March 11th carries the quality of a door beginning to open, a freshness, a sense of possibility, the particular aliveness of something new becoming accessible. March 13th carries the quality of a door preparing to close, a gentle urgency that is not anxiety but attentiveness, a natural human inclination to be present for endings in a way that beginnings sometimes don't require. People who are aware of the window's structure often describe March 13th as the day they feel most called to honor what the preceding 2 days have offered. The specific weight of March 13th is connected to a quality that spiritual teachers across many traditions have associated with thresholds. The understanding that what can be received within a particular window cannot always be replicated outside of it. This is not scarcity, it is specificity. The kind of interior clarity and accessibility that this 3-day window provides is available in other forms at other times, but with a different quality, a different ease of access. March 13th is the last day on which the particular form of clarity this window offers is most naturally available, and something in the interior tends to recognize this, even without being told. The behavior people report on March 13th that distinguishes it from the earlier days of the window is a quality of intentionality that wasn't as present on the 11th or 12th. People find themselves making small but deliberate choices, writing something down, speaking something aloud, making a small commitment to themselves about a direction they want to move in. Not grand resolutions, but quiet acknowledgments. The gentle formalization of what the interior has arrived at over the preceding 2 days. March 13th is less about receiving new clarity and more about honoring the clarity already received. Before the ordinary volume of life resumes and begins to soften its edges. What the body registers before the mind catches up. The body is a more honest reporter than the mind in many situations. not because the mind is dishonest, but because the mind has access to justifications, rationalizations, and constructions of meaning that the body does not. The body responds to what is, not to what a person has decided things are. During this energy window, this quality of bodily honesty becomes particularly useful. People find that their physical responses to situations, conversations, and environments during these 3 days are more reliably informative than usual, pointing clearly toward what genuinely agrees with them and what does not, with a specificity that thinking rarely achieves with the same efficiency. The specific bodily signals worth attending to during this window are the ones associated with ease and resistance rather than pain and pleasure. A feeling of expansion in the chest around a person or idea versus a feeling of slight contraction. An ease of breath in certain environments versus a subtle shallowing in others. The quality of physical energy available after different kinds of conversations, increased versus slightly drained. These signals are present in ordinary time, but during the March 11th through 13th window, they tend to be more pronounced, more consistent, and more quickly available for reading than usual. The body becomes, during these 3 days, a particularly reliable compass, the inner knowing that sharpens during this window. There is a faculty of perception that most people use far less than they could, not because it is rare or difficult to access, but because the ordinary conditions of modern life rarely create the quietness in which it can be clearly heard. This faculty, called intuition in contemporary language, and named differently in virtually every wisdom tradition that has ever acknowledged its existence, operates most reliably in conditions of interior stillness and reduced external noise. Conditions that the March 11th through 13th energy window provides with unusual generosity, particularly for those who approach these 3 days with even modest intentionality. The sharpening of inner knowing during this window does not feel like the dramatic arrival of prophetic certainty. It feels quieter and more personal than that. It tends to feel like the difference between reading a map in poor light and reading it in good light. The map hasn't changed. The information was always there. But the quality of available light means more of it can be accurately read. People describe making assessments during these 3 days that feel more grounded and reliable than usual. Evaluations of situations, people, and directions that arrive with a quality of interior confidence that is distinct from the effortful certainty of forced decision-making. The concrete behavioral shift associated with this sharpened inner knowing is a reduced inclination to seek outside validation for what the interior has already determined. People find themselves less likely to ask others what they should do about something they have already quietly resolved within themselves. Less inclined to poll the opinions of friends about decisions the interior has already made. There is a quality of self-reliance that arrives during these days, not aloofness or isolation, but a genuine trust in one's own perceptual accuracy that is both specific to this window and, with regular attention, capable of becoming more available in ordinary time. The 3 days of March 11th through 13th will pass with the quiet efficiency of all significant windows, arriving, doing their particular work, and releasing back into ordinary time without ceremony or announcement. Life will resume its familiar rhythm. The external world will reclaim its usual proportion of attention, and the interior clarity, the softened emotional edges, the sharpened inner knowing, these will begin, gradually, to be covered over by the ordinary accumulation of days. But something of what moved through this window will remain, in a form that ordinary time cannot entirely obscure. A small resolution that holds, a clarity that once arrived at does not require being re-arrived at, a quality of self-knowledge that, having been genuinely touched during these 3 days, leaves a trace that future quietness can find its way back to. You don't need to do anything tonight to make the most of this window. The most significant work of these days tends to happen without being managed or directed. It asks only for a little more presence than usual, a little more willingness to be honest with yourself in the quiet moments that ordinary evenings provide. The window is open. Something in you already knows how to use it. And whatever is ready to resolve during these 3 days is, in its own unhurried and entirely trustworthy way, already in motion.